Welcome to Catching Up with Council. I'm your host, Leah Haslidge. Today we'll be catching up with Ward 2 Councilman Kevin Bishop. Welcome.
Thank you, Leah. Appreciate it.
So tell us now how long you've represented Ward 2 and what neighborhoods that's comprised of.
Well, you know, I've only been a councilman a short period of time. I got elected in November 2017. So I took my oath in January 1 of 2018. So January 1 of 2018, so I guess it's been about 14 months, okay? So I'm really enjoying being a councilman. It's been a lifelong goal of mine to represent my community. I grew up in the Union Miles in the Corlett area as a kid. I went to Corlett School, I went to Miles Elementary, Robert H. Jameson Junior High School. So I've been in Ward 2 all of my life. So it's truly an honor to come back and represent the neighborhood that I grew up in. So Ward 2 consists of Union Miles, which goes anywhere from 93rd all the way over to Miles up to 131st. And my ward is also comprised of part of Mount Pleasant. I go up to 151st in Kinsman, south of Kinsman all the way down to 140th Street. I have a big chunk of East 131st Street. And also have part of Slavic Village, which is Mill Creek. We call it the Mill Creek area. It consists of Warner roads from the Broadway exchange all the way to the Garfield line, Turney, and our Mill Creek development. So that's what comprises Ward 2.
A large space.
It's a very large space. I think I have over 90 some streets, and I think I've walked every last street in Ward 2.
Now, you said it's been a goal of yours to be a councilman. What did you do prior, leading up to being a councilman, that kind of helped fulfill this dream?
Well, I worked in Ward 2, not as a councilman, but I've been a private citizen and a private investor in Ward 2. I've bought and sold nearly 20 properties in Ward 2 and parts of Ward 4. So I've done a lot of real estate development. I've done rehabs. I also worked for Nestle for the last 17 years, up until about 2.5 years ago. So yeah, I've been working in Ward 2 pretty much all of my life. I remember my childhood memories all consist of things that's in Ward 2, that's heart of Ward 2, like Earl B. Turner Recreation Center. I grew up in the YMCA there. Back then it was the YMCA, but I grew up in the YMCA, come through elementary school, so it's been a lifelong goal of mine to be a representative of the community that reared me as a kid.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, currently you're the chair for the Workforce Development and Community Benefits Committee. Jobs is obviously a big topic for people and the future of jobs. How are residents getting the skills that are needed for these future jobs, and what are you doing to help with this?
Well, of course, this is a new role of mine, and I think I start as the chairman on Monday morning. So this is going to be a brand new role for me, and I'm very excited about it. You know, I've heard from so many different sources throughout the city of Cleveland that we need a ready workforce. And we have a lot of jobs that's unfilled in our area. And one of the main reasons is that people are not ready to go into the workforce, especially our residents within the city of Cleveland. People are not ready to go into the workforce and be productive citizens. So working with various key stakeholders throughout the city, a lot of private nonprofit organizations are already doing great workforce development, but I want to bring everybody to the table, and I want to try to bring a collaborative effort and to go out to actually recruit people and take this message and close the gap between the services that's provided for workforce development and the people that actually they're seeking workforce development.
Yeah. Do you hear a lot of that from your residents?
Well, we have a problem with jobs. We have a problem with meaningful jobs. So I do hear it a lot from my residents. You know, they want jobs, but they have to understand that in order to have a job, you have to have certain skills, and you need to develop soft skills. You need to develop skills that's transferable to the workplace. You need to learn how to be on time, how to, just basically how to read. So we have a problem with in our community with education. So we want to try to enhance our educational programs to get people ready for the workforce.
Yeah. Now, you have a lot of great developments happening in your ward, especially with housing. Tell us about some of these projects that we can look forward to.
Okay, we have a development that we have in the makings at one of our old sites that used to house it was a middle school at the time. It's called Jameson site. It's on Harvard and East 140. It's between East 141st and East 136, and we are hopefully going to break ground in 2019. We are under the development stages right now. We're going to develop that area, and we're going to put 20 to 30 single-family homes and townhouse homes there. So we're really excited about that. Ward 2 has very little townhouses, especially the contemporary townhouses that people actually seek a lot. Some of our millennials are actually seeking these type of structures. So we're going to have on the frontage of Harvard Avenue, we're gonna build townhomes right on the front end, and on the back side, we're going to build single-family homes.
You mentioned the millennials with the townhomes. Are you seeing a wave of millennials coming into the ward?
Okay. Well, I don't necessarily want to categorize as we see in a wave, but I hopefully will put things there to attract some millennials so we can bring some new life, some the younger generation into Ward 2. You know, we have, and I'm proud of our senior population, but we do need a mixture of folks, influx of folks to kind of have a diverse ward too.
Yeah, keep the neighborhood thriving.
Keep the neighborhood thriving.
One of your commitments has been to improve and to add parks. How is that coming along? Well,
we are very excited about a brand new park that we had just broke ground on about 3 weeks ago, the Aletha Wilson Park on 108th Street, between 108th Street and 110th Street, between Miles and Harvard. That park is gonna be a $1.2 million improvement. So the residents are excited about it over there. The block clubs are energized over there. I have residents calling me, they want to get in on just the planning stages, and they're very excited about the park. Now, the East 108th Street Club has an annual party in the park. So we are hoping that this park is ready, up and running by August, so we can have this annual party in the park.
And I say August is a date coming up that people can look forward to, and it's every year, correct?
Yes, every year they have this. They have the party every year. So, and I know it's a quick turnaround time, but hopefully we'll have a lot of that park completed by that time, so we can have a nice party in the park this year.
Very nice. All right, I know there's a lot more for us to get into, but we have to take a quick break. But we'll be right back with more Catching Up with Council.
What is Union Miles? What does this city know about community? What does this neighborhood that had the highest foreclosures in the nation know about revitalization? Well, I'll tell you. More than most, hard work, perseverance, and participation have been the cornerstone of our success and the anthem of our agency, our stakeholders, and our residents. It is who we are, a community that works together. Our story defies all odds. You know, they said the rebels would never rise again. We all know that's not true. You see, we continue to harvest local and national leaders. We have mastered urban retail during an economic recession, standing against all odds. As we gain ground in the fight against foreclosure, we look to provide new, sustainable, and affordable housing options. That's probably not what you've heard in the media by people who have never even been here. But it's the true testimony of our agency, our stakeholders, and our residents. Because when it comes to revitalizing the region and the city of Cleveland, it's about the neighborhoods. Now, some have said we are off the beaten path, but we are a cornerstone and a leader in the revitalization of Northeast Ohio. We are 35,000 residents strong. In Union Miles, we believe you have only failed when you stop trying. This is about development. This is about you.
Welcome back to Catching with Council. I'm Leah Haslidge. Today we're catching up with Ward 2 Councilman Kevin Bishop. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So we talked about housing earlier before the break. There's been a lot of dilapidated homes torn down in your ward. What's going on with the land there and the development coming?
Well, Leah, we have so much blight in Ward 2. We haven't seen any kind of meaningful investment in our housing stock in many, many decades. So nonetheless, with all of the abandoned homes that's been in Ward 2 for so long, they have become eyesores. Yeah. And I guess over the last decade, we didn't get a lot of stuff done as far as removing the blight. So in 2018, we had an awesome year. We had more houses torn down in 2018 than the last 4 years combined. So we, at the same time, we're clear away all of the blight, but we also looking towards the future. With all of the homes that's being torn down, I also worry about the vacant lots that these homes cause. So we have to put a concerted effort. We have to put down a concerted effort and make some planning for the many vacant lots we have until we get some development on these vacant lots.
But at least you're getting the houses torn down, so
yes.
Keeps crime down.
Yeah, it keeps crime down. Yeah, a lot of residents has been concerned over the years. That was probably my number one complaint when I took office, is all of the abandoned homes. All of the homes that's open, their safety. It's a big safety concern.
Huge.
Because and I mean, if you live, just imagine you living next door to a home that's basically where the people dump trash, the doors are open, the windows are broken out. You have animals living in these homes. It's become a huge inconvenience for our community and for our neighbors to live next door to an abandoned home. So I'm very happy and very encouraged to see so much clearing of our blight in our community.
Now, you have a lot of great community development corporations that work with you. Tell us about some of them and how they're working to help the neighborhoods.
Okay. Well, I have three development corporations within that has a footprint within my ward: Union Miles, Mount Pleasant Now, and Slavic Village Development. Now, everybody knows how great Slavic Village is. But Union Miles, they are doing some great things in Ward 2. Union Miles have put together some great programs, and they have some great developments on the horizon. Just to touch on just a few, we have an old fast food restaurant that's been closed in our neighborhood for about maybe close to 15 years. Oh, wow. And they have just recently acquired this property, and we're going to turn it into a cafe launch house. So we just got the plans finished on that. So we're excited about that. Ward 2, it's hard to find a place where you can sit down and have a cup of coffee and buy a donut in Ward 2 and have a sandwich. So we are super excited about if we can turn this thing and make it to reality, a cafe for Ward 2. So that's one of the developments. Also, the Union Miles is working on our Ridall development with veterans over on Harvard Avenue. It's going to provide housing for veterans. a lot of wraparound service for veterans. There's much needed services in our community because a lot of veterans are homeless, and it's a hard time. Yeah, it's a hard time them finding services and a place they can come and be at home at and congregate at. Also, I want to mention that Union Miles is spearheading an effort, and they're developing the Bob Deskins Park on 93rd Street and Harvard Avenue. This place was a vacant lot, and they turned it into a nice green space. So we finished phase 1 in 2018, and we are in the midst of going into phase 2. So that's another thing Union Miles Development is doing. Also, Union Miles Development has a program called UMAG. It's a program where it's an entrepreneurial program where they teach folks how to become entrepreneurs and within the landscape industry. So that program is very promising. They have a lot of folks that come through that program. We're seeing a lot of enthusiasm around that program. We also have another program where we teach folks how to renovate and rehab homes. So Union Miles is doing a lot of great things over in Ward 2, and I'm lucky to have them. We also have Mount Pleasant Development. We have a new director over there in Nicholas Perry. Nicholas is doing so many great things over there. He's actually turned that whole quadrant of Kinsman into a very bustling, thriving area again, and we're just excited to see the things in the next 10 years to a decade.
Some of the things you mentioned kind of circle back to what you were talking about earlier with being part of workforce development, with training people on how to do different jobs so that way when the jobs are created, they have those skills. So it sounds like the community development corporations are already helping in that aspect. Right,
yeah. You know, one of the most important things, I think the most important thing in any community as far as the resources is its people. So investing in people, you can't go wrong when you invest in people. So, so that's been one of my biggest goals as councilman, is just to keep to investing in people, change the attitude and the mindset of the people in Ward 2, turn it into a positive mindset where we're looking forward to a bright future.
So since you become councilman, what's been the biggest highlight of is there one moment that stands out that's like the highlight of your being a councilman?
Well, I'm a simple guy. And so, I don't need a lot of big things to say, oh, this is big and this is big. But I think one of the biggest highlights has been when I had a group of residents to show up at my meeting, at my monthly ward meeting, and they were very, very, very upset about the conditions of their street. It's been a drug house on this street. I don't want to misquote, but it's been for at least 5 to 7 years. The drug house has been going on for at least 5 years. They can't sleep at night. I didn't have just 2 or 3 residents. I had pretty much the whole street come to me and say, Councilman, we need something to be done about this particular area and this particular house. So anyway, working for the last 6 to 7 months, been in and out of court, had several meetings and strategizing. So we finally got this guy. We finally got that house closed. And lo and behold, the residents who showed up at that meeting also showed up at the next meeting that I had just recently and thanked me for actually the efforts, the efforts that we did on the street just to get this guy, just to take their street back. So that was very satisfying for me to see how appreciative everybody was on the street. But you know what? Being the guy that I am, I also actually gave them all the credit. Okay.
Because they united and came to you.
That's right. That's right.
So what's been the most challenging?
Well, I think getting things done at City Hall is probably the most challenging thing. How things move at a snail's pace. Some of the red tape you have to go through. I have impulses where I just want to go out and do things, and I want to go out and do this, and I know, but it's protocol. Yeah. So that's one of the most eye-opening challenges here at City Hall is try to get things done and to move them through the various departments and to actually get them done the right way.
Anything else you think we should know about Ward 2 and its residents?
Well, Ward 2 has a lot of great amenities in Ward 2, and I think people should come over and see us. We have the Mill Creek Falls, for instance. The Mill Creek Falls is the biggest waterfall in the state of Ohio, and it's right at the heart of Ward 2 in Slavic Village. So when people come over to Mill Creek Falls, they're actually shocked. We didn't know this was here. So we have bike trails that leads in and out of the falls. We have a lot of different things going on in Ward 2, so I hope people will take the time out to come over and visit Ward 2.
How can we get more information?
Well, you can get more information through my newsletter that I send out on a quarterly basis. You can call my office. You can go to the Union Miles website. I'm not exactly sure the Union Miles what the Union Miles website is, but you can go to the website. They list all of the activities going over there. Also, Mount Pleasant now keeps a very intensive website, and there lists all of the community activities and things that you can get involved to over there.
Do you have any social media we can follow as well?
Yes, you can follow me on K Bishop Ward 2.
On Twitter?
On Twitter, yes.
Okay, very
Okay.
good. Well, thank you so much for being here, Councilman.
Okay,
it was
thank you,
great
Leah.
having you in studio.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in. Of course, we'll have all this information for you on our website, tv20cleveland.com. I'm Leah Hasledge. Till next time.